Well, a couple years ago I built two beds for a couple girls in our family, and they've really liked them. If you want to see how I built them, I had a blog post a couple years ago, and I built them out of 2x6s and 2x4s and 4x4 posts for the legs. And now they wanted more space in their room, and they wanted to see if we could turn them into bunk beds. And one key thing was I realized I could buy two 8-foot 4x4 posts, and I could replace the legs on the bottom bed with the 4x4 posts. They'd be 4 foot tall if I cut them in half, and the other bed. And I had to measure a lot to see if that would be enough. It was a lot of measuring. How high should the bed be? How high should from the mattress to the other bed without banging your head? The ceiling was 7 foot high in their bedroom, and I didn't want the top bed to be too close, so I had to do a lot of measuring, and I had a lot of checking what normal bunk beds are, the spacing, and you know, from the frame plus the mattress plus that. So it was a lot of measuring and figuring out, but I realized I could take those 4x4 posts, cut them in half, and use those as the bottom leg. And to connect the bottom bunk to the top bunk, I actually took an idea from when I was in college at MSU. They had normal beds, and they had a metal pin that fit in the top post, and then the other post slid on it. There were holes in the legs, and it slid over the pin and it held it in. And so that's what we did. I just cut a piece of steel, drilled a hole in the one post and the other, and slipped the bed on there. We ended up buying little metal brackets to screw it together just so it wouldn't pop off, but I think it didn't really need it. And for the ladder, I didn't want to permanently attach the ladder to the bed. I wanted it to be able to move, some way of it staying on there, so I made two hooks out of PVC pipe so it would hook over the top railing. And the ladder was just a 2x4 I ripped in half for the legs, and then the slats, just another 2x4 ripped in half, and I rabbited them, glued it together, screwed it together, rounded over the edges. We also made a railing for the top bunk so the person up there couldn't roll off, and I did that the same way I originally built the headboard. I used wood dowels, I think 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch wood dowels, and I put a 2x4 on the top, and I drilled into the side rail and slid it in and glued it in, and that was really sturdy, and that worked out well. And again, I had to measure how high from the frame to the mattress, then how high the top rail should be. We took it there, took off the old legs, then I could mark. I had two bolts in one direction and one in the other, so I marked the same spots on those legs and bolted it together. I put some extra screws to tighten everything up, and then we put it together. Had to lift the top bunk up and slipped it over those the metal pin, but it worked out great. It was sturdy, and it turned out really great. So I don't know if you saw the old blog I did about building the beds, but if you ever wanted to convert them to bunk beds, all you need to buy is two 8-foot 4x4 posts and make a ladder, and it turned out really great. It saved a lot of space in that room, and the girls are old enough now they can climb up there, and they really like it. So if you're thinking of making your own bunk bed, you can use those old plans for the beds, and just replace that bottom leg with the 4x4 posts. Well, I hope you liked the video you just watched. If you did, feel free to subscribe by clicking the button on this side. You can also check out all the videos I've done, the playlist from things I've built, things I've fixed, home repair, 3D printing, and on this side you can check out a recommended video similar to the one you just watched. And as always, down in the description I'll put a link to my blog, which has more pictures and more information about the video you just watched. Thanks.